Welcome guys to my new Arrma sliding gear mount demonstration. In this video I'm going to show you step by step how to use the new sliding gear mount to change over your pinion nice and easily. The car in question we've got here is the Arrma Typhoon. This is the optional speed pinion, and with this fitted this car should do over 70 miles an hour. Now most of the Arrmas I've driven have done spot on the speed that they've said, so I'm quite confident that this car will achieve that with the speed pinion fitted to it. If you don't want to miss the forthcoming speedrun videos of this car, don't forget to subscribe. Anyway, let me get the camera down and show you just how easy to use the new Arrma sliding gear mount system is. Now, you're thinking, Richie, I've got a new Arrma, but it's not a Typhoon. Every one of the new Arrma 6S cars, the V4 ones, has got this same sliding gear mount system fitted to it. So, what I'm about to show you here should apply to any of the new V4 Arrmas. Hope that makes sense, guys. Any comments or questions you might have along the way, guys, please ask away. Well, firstly, for this job, guys, you're going to need a 2mm and a 2.5mm hex drivers. Now, the first thing we're going to need to do is just loosen these two screws here. That's going to enable us to slide the motor out to the side. But the very first thing I'm going to do is undo my brushless motor wires here and move those nicely out of the way to the side, purely so I get a better angle to film it from to show you guys. Now, at the same time, I'm going to do a mod that Rich Duperbash recommended, which is to drill a tiny hole through the top of here. So when I put the wires back in, I'm going to put a cable tie or ziplock tie around the top of that, holding wires down. Any jumping around is going to stop the motor wires getting kicked around. So thanks to Rich Duperbash for that one. As I'll show, it's the kind of job I keep saying I'll get around to doing, but doing this tonight will inspire me to get on with it. Now, this is a much easier job, Richie says. Now, typically, this being an Arrma, these are very tight, so I'm going to get one of the original Allen keys to just loosen them up to start with. This should be no surprise to me that this is very tight on it, because on the previous Arrmas I've had, the motor bracket has been fastened on, and they actually used to use red Loctite. I'm not sure if they still do, which made it very hard to release this bracket on the older Arrmas from the car indeed. Well, I've shifted the car down onto the side so I can get a bit more leverage on it. I'll show you the good and the bad of these things. This one on the inside, the hex wrench is actually slipping around on here, which is not the ideal start that I wanted. Anyway, I'm going to loosen this one. Anyway, now I've got that loosened with the hex wrench. Sorry, now I've got that loosened off, should be able to get that one out with the hex wrench. And that one comes out nice and easily. And we've got showing blue Loctite on there, so the other one should come off reasonably easily as well. If it was red Loctite, I would be worrying. Okay guys, well, even using that supplied hex wrench on here as opposed to my hex driver, the second one in very tight, and I had to cut a tiny little slot in the top of it with the Dremel in order to use the screwdriver on there. That's the situation I've been in with these cars. The Arrma cars are very well put together, almost too well put together at times. But if something, I'm not going to hide stuff from you guys and say this is nice and easy. This second screw in here was an absolute pig to get undone. Other people might hide it away, but I'm not going to, guys. Well, once you've loosened those two screws on the top, you can slide the motor mount in and out. So simply then turn the gear around till you can get access to the grub screw at the side. Now, I know on Arrmas they've got two holes that the grub screw can go in through. Now, it is very tight, I have to say. I've had to apply quite a bit of force off camera on here, so you want to make darn sure you don't strip the grub screw out on the pinion there. Now, with that removed very carefully, I'm going to use, horror of horrors, he says, a screwdriver to gently lever that off. That took quite a bit of fighting to get that loose. Okay guys, well, if anyone was wondering why that was hard to remove, if you see that on the opposite, this is the opposite side to where the screw is in, we've got traces of red Loctite, so I'm guessing that had gone down the centre of the shaft on there, so there's almost gluing the pinion onto the shaft. So I shall not be using red Loctite on it when I put it back on. I shall use blue instead. Okay guys, well, on these Arrma cars you've got two flat spots on the motor drive shaft. This means you can put two grub screws in. Now, while the original pinion had one grub screw in, I am going to put two grub screws in when I'm putting it back on. I hope that makes sense. So it sort of gives it double the strength, if you like. Next, I'm going to slip the pinion on and tighten up one of the grub screws on the first flat spot on the motor. Okay, I've turned the gear through 180 degrees. Going to put the other grub screw in nice and tight against the other flat spot. Then I'm going to slide the pinion back in, paying careful attention to the gear mesh on there, then tighten the two screws up on the top. Okay, once you're 100% happy with the mesh, nice and tight on these two screws on the top there, you could put a bit of Loctite on there. And the tip for you guys would be, put the pinion gear that you've taken off in the original bag and keep it together in the manual and the toolkit, etc. That way you can't mix it up with your other gears. Okay guys, well, as I say, little tip from Rich Duperbash here that I picked up. Simply drill a hole through the top of the wire holder here, put a little Ziploc tie around it, that way if you flip upside down, none of these wires are going to bounce loose and come anywhere near that pinion or spur, which ain't going to end well for them. So, do we like how easy the Arrma slide out gear change is? Thumbs up if you do, guys. Well guys, that's the end of my Arrma sliding gear mount demonstration. Other than that one screw, this was a very simple job to do indeed, and it's going to be a great boon to you, particularly if you're doing lots of speed runs where you're wanting to change the gear quite often on there. I would think this job can be done in like 2 or 3 minutes with a bit of practice on there, providing of course that screw on the top that I had difficulty with comes loose nice and easily. But I'm not going to hide the hard bits from you guys. I'm not going to make that look easy when the screw was very hard to get undone. Anyway guys, if you want to see this car in action, it's got plenty planned for it in the coming few days, then don't forget to subscribe. And if you like this video, you found it useful, as I say, it will work on any of the new Arrma 6S V4 cars, then please do feel free to share with friends. Thanks for watching. We hope you liked this video. If you did, please click on the circle image to subscribe. And if you hit subscribe, then don't forget to hit that little notifications bell next to it.